Hello and welcome back to Persona 5 Royal Definition of Lost Potential. This is part 3 of a multi-part series. Now, if you've not watched part 2 or 1 for some reason, they will be in the icons up here in the top right corner, the little eye thing. Or you can find them in the description below. I gave this warning last time, but once again, full spoilers. Full spoilers, and if you've not watched part 1 and 2, please do so for watching this. Thank you.
God, the story in this game is just so damn strange. There are some good things and some absolutely horrendous things. Some of the game's worst writing comes from the Confidant stories you have to go through. Here's one story that really bothered me. Futaba has a horrible backstory. This is in the sense of actual bad story writing. So Futaba's story revolves around her finally leaving the room and rejoining society. Futaba and her mom used to have a list of things to do together. Her mom is now gone, of course, so she wants to finish the list with Akira. As the story goes on, we learn more about a past best friend she had named Kana, who was very close to her. All that came crashing and burning because one day she discovered through a dropped journal of Kana's that reveals that her parents are very bad people. There are comments of sexual abuse and being told to wear very strange outfits and costumes and have photos taken of her. These are very serious crimes to deal with and extremely traumatizing events for a kid. Futaba continues to investigate Kana and discovers online that the abuse is still happening to this day due to gambling problems or whatever, so they want more money. How does Akira and Futaba solve this problem? They go to Mementos and steal the parents' hearts and everything will be better again. Holy shit. Oh my god. Hold on. Let's get into this. Okay. Yes, the abuse stopped and they would turn themselves in, but this does not cure any mental scarring, PTSD, or any of the bad stuff that happens. So Futaba does reconnect with Kana again and claims that she is going to live a normal life. She has a job at a convenience store and has money to take a high school entrance exam. Let's pause right there. Now, I'm not a sexual abuse victim, and I'm very glad not to be one, but I cannot say the same for a lot of other people. I personally know some sexual assault victims, and I asked them how they felt about how the game treated this. Needless to say, they were not happy at all. How can the game say that everything is all good in the neighborhood? There is no normal life after that. Having your parents sexually abuse you and do 6 things for their pleasure and wealth will mess with your mind for the rest of your life. It really makes me sick that Atlas can think they can sit here, write that, and say, yeah, let's give that a thumbs up, put that in the game. I'm no professional writer, but even I would never ever carelessly miswrite something as huge and as important as this. This is one of the examples of Atlas just not being able to handle very, very mature situations. Another bad story in this game is Chihaya's fortune teller girl. The story in itself isn't that bad, but it just drags and it's so boring and it takes forever to actually learn anything about her. You have to spend 100,000 yen to begin the Confidant story with her, which can take a while to gather up if you're not grinding a lot in Mementos and selling your treasure at EY's shop. When you finally get started with this, it takes forever to even learn who I can't say her name. Chihaya. It takes forever to even learn who Chihaya was or even is. Even after rank 5, you barely know her. So here's the thing about the Confidant rings, right? It can take forever to get to rank 10. You have to choose the right responses to rank them up. Sometimes the responses that seem completely reasonable and correct won't get your rank any closer. The story continues and you learn more about her past with the organization and involves you having to go to Mementos, beat up a bad guy that is ruining your life. Yay. The story seems to be a story that wants you to remember and learn something from, but it's just so sloppy and boring. Not to mention her rankings are not even useful at all. She has been one of the biggest wastes of time in the entire game. Futaba and Chihaya are 2 examples of how bad some of the stories in this game can be. There are multiple stories that you can experience in this game. Thankfully, not all of them are bad. Yusuke, Yoshida, Ryuji, and Haru have some of the best Confidant stories in the entire game. They are the diamonds in the rough for sure. I like to put the spotlight on Yoshida and Haru real quick, because these two have stories that have a bad person ruining their life, and you would assume you would have to go to Mementos and magically fix all their problems, but nope. You actually solve their problems in the real world and things go on normally. Why can't every Confidant story be like this? Why do you have to go to Mementos and magically fix all their problems in all these stories? It's so bad. You have to go to Mementos every now and then for leveling up and progressing the story, but these trips to Mementos just halt your progress with these people, and you can't continue their rankings until you defeat the shadows. It's not fun. The whole idea of going to Mementos to fix your confidant's life magically is bullshit and it's really bad. But let's discuss everyone's favorite waifu teacher, Kawakami. Kawakami's story involves her past and how she's being blackmailed and for money because of something she clearly didn't do. After she goes to hospital for overworking herself to pay these bad people, she finally gathers the courage to say no more to this. Unfortunately, all that comes crashing down when the bad people discover that she moonlights as a maid who also does sex work? Question mark? Is it ever really apparent that she does that? I mean, there are moments in the game where it's hinted that she will do anything for you, but would she really do something like that? Regardless, after she's blackmailed again, she loses all of her confidence and now it's up to us to fix her life. We have to go to Mementos and defeat the evil people. Great. So after that, everything's all hunky-dory for Miss Kawakami. This is terrible. This is awful. Another story like that is everyone's favorite waifu doctor, Tai. Her story is long, but like, once it comes to her losing all of hope in herself, we have to go to Mementos and fix her life as well. These two stories and the numerous other ones are just examples of why these should not be forced into the rankings. The whole point of these Confidant stories is to help each other grow into a better person and learn a lesson or two. So what lesson is me or Kawakami learning from having to go into the metaverse and fix their life? This is why I say Yusuke, Yoshida, Haru, and Ryuji have some of the best stories in the entire game because their stories can easily be fixed by Mementos bullshit. But guess what? They saw them like actual adults. We helped them in reality, and we learned something. This is what every Confidant story should be like. The whole reason these memento trips are thrown in here, so players are basically forced to go down there, level up, grind out some stuff, and then we're done. They do this so that they don't have to deal with having to grind out all the floors at once in December when you are forced to be down there. Here's the thing though. Every player is going to grind out these floors after they finish a palace. There is legit no reason to. If they choose to ignore mementos for the entire game, that's just on them. The game already makes it clear that you should go down there every so often so you don't fall behind. You can clear a floor in like 10 minutes. It's so easy. There should be 0 mementos missions in these rankings. It's dumb. The life aspect of Persona 5 is actually pretty good. I will not lie. You spend the afternoon studying, you can see a movie, you can hang out with the confidant, train at the gym, eat a Big Bang Theory burger, and so many more. One thing I didn't quite understand is Sundays. On Sundays, you don't have classes, so the entire day is yours. You can do whatever you want in the daytime. But if you partake in an activity in the morning time, it skips the evening. Why not the afternoon like every other day? Why cannot be daytime, afternoon, and evening? I highly doubt if Akira goes to the movies during the daytime, he will come back at LeBlanc in the evening. So dumb. Other than that, I like the off time during palaces. Once you take a treasure from the palace, you have all the time to do whatever you want. It feels good, other than wasting time on Sundays. Let's talk about the romancing in this game, because oh boy, is it something. Persona 5 is very famous for its waifu baits and who is best girl debates you see so much on Twitter. You can romance every female confidant except for the twins and Lavenza, of course, because I mean, come on, man, you're better than that. When you romance them, they become your girlfriend. You can do girlfriend things with them, like hang out with them during a day in Hawaii, the school fair, Christmas, Valentine's Day, and the new White Day in Royal. Now, why am I discussing this? Well, it's because the romancing in this game is extremely unrealistic and odd. The scenes where you get to decide whether or not you want to date them can really be strange. A lot of times they make it very clear they want to date you, but if you say no, they'll take it like absolutely nothing happened. They'll just move on, never to be brought up again. Sumeri legit says I love you during the scene. If you say no, she'll just take it like it means nothing. What? That makes no sense at all. You literally just said you loved me, but I guess being friend-zoned isn't that bad after all. They pour their heart out about how much you mean to them, and they need you to live. But if you tell them no, they just completely blank out and forget that they were even in love with you. Most of the time, thankfully, you are in control of whether you want to date them or not. They don't bring it up, so whether you date them or not, the answer will make sense. For example, An does not make it obvious how she loves you, but she has a void in her heart that Shiho is leaving behind. You can fill that void by being her boyfriend, of course. If you tell her that you love her, or that she'll always have the Phantom Thieves, she will still be the same An because she has never expressed romantic feelings towards you. One of the worst examples of this is Futaba. She tells you that she is literally incapable of being without you, and she constantly needs you by her side in her life. Futaba makes it extremely obvious that if you do not stay by her side or be in her life, she just cannot function at all. When the moment comes to either date or friend zone, things can get really messy. If you date her, then it's nirvana for her, because the one thing she desperately wanted has come true. But if you say that we're just teammates, however, you would think that she would just break down or run away to be alone. But nope, she just stands up and accepts it. Of course! Teammates are always supposed to be nice to each other. What? Futaba is supposed to be the mentally unstable and childish one out of the entire group, and she has made it very clear that she would basically die without you. So why is she just so okay with her dream not becoming reality? Nobody in the game gets actually hurt if you decline them, except for actually one person, and this person will surprise you. The one person who actually seems hurt is Haru. If you romance her, everything's fantastic, right? But if you turn her down, she is visibly hurt. She legit needs you to leave the house. This is how people should act. Love is not something that can be played around with or just discarded when they reject you. It is a very tricky human emotion, and this game treats it like it's fucking allergies or something, and that can just be wished away. Why is Haru the only character that gets upset when the other characters like Anna Futaba, who have actual abandonment issues, by the way, do not get upset at all? What's even more strange is that no matter who you date, nothing in the world changes. You have special scenes in the aforementioned parts of the game, but nothing about that character changes if you date them. Let's just say you date An, for example. An will not be any different outside the main story if you are romancing her. The only time she is different is in these special scenes. Could the developers not have made a scene where the cast reveals they are dating? I would have loved this. There should have been a scene where you and An bring the group together and you tell them that you are now a couple. This would have brought more scenes that the game desperately needed when they aren't shown about this worrying about the main situation or whatever their confidant story is. Just a group of friends coming together to congratulate their newfound happiness. Also, seeing Morgana crush seeing the protagonist date the girl he sent forward for the entire game would have been a treat as well. Romancing is great and all, but the game treats it like it's nothing. Dating is something that is so tremendous and one of the greatest experiences you can experience in life. Persona 5 just treats it as just a cool thing you could partake in. Let's take my virtual girlfriends into consideration here. No matter who you date, when you hang out with them, they'll just tell you how grateful they are for you being in their life. If that's the case, why do we only hang out with them when the game decides we can? That is a major issue I have with the life, and you could go weeks without talking or seeing your girlfriend. What the kind of relationship is that? You can only see them when they are available during their chosen days. I understand that not everyone can be constantly available every day, but they are absent a lot. Like, yeah, Samiria has gymnastics, so we can't hang out with her sometime during the day. If you want to date your waifu in Persona 5, the game should force you to do things with them. Like, you have options to hang out with them on special days, but you can choose not to. Why is this even an option? If we can go the entire game without hanging out with my girlfriend, what's the point of even having one? This game has no spine. It has no balls. Wondering why? This game is too afraid to take risk. Let's point out a segment that made me really, really hate the game. This moment is Ryuji's fake death, and Morgana's fake death too. When we finish Shido's palace, the palace starts to fall apart as it usually does, and we finally steal the treasure from the ruler. We get outside, and the ship is starting to sink. So we need to get to the lifeboats. We can't reach them in time, so Ryuji volunteers to release the lifeboats because he's fast enough to get there in time. Ryuji starts running, and he does get to the boats. He gets there, and he releases them, and everybody gets in. Ryuji decides to dangle there and gives a thumbs up for no reason, I guess. And then boom! Explosion! Ryuji is dead. Holy crap! Everyone comes back. Of course, they mourn Ryuji, but 30 seconds later, he just comes back. This is where everything goes wrong. So Ryuji claims that he was just blasted out of the metaverse. Is that a thing that can happen? I'm pretty sure Morgana said at one point that you can only leave the metaverse the same place you've entered. That's why every single palace, you can only return to the real world at this entrance area. But that doesn't make sense either, because each time the palace falls apart, we do not leave the same place we came in. And back to Ryuji, there is no way that you can just be blasted out of the metaverse. Regardless of this, everyone starts getting pissed off at Ryuji because he didn't die. They legit beat him up and leave him knocked out by a light post and just walk away. What the fuck was that? In base Persona 5, Morgana disappears after we defeat Yaldabaoth and does not return until 51 days later. Thankfully, it's where the new content in Persona 5 Royal changes it. Fortunately, it's not that much better. Morgana returns on Christmas Day, so this one day later, everyone's so happy. Someone already said that Morgana didn't come back immediately, but everyone just accepts it and nobody assaults Morgana. I guess because it's animal abuse, I guess. Whatever. But why doesn't everyone get universally pissed at Morgana when his offense is much worse than Ryuji's? As I said before, this game has no spine because of moments like this. The game has no moments where the player just becomes frozen. No moments where they stare at the screen and cannot believe what just happened. There are no moments where the player realizes that anything can happen to these characters. This moment right here should have been one of the game's biggest shocks. Ryuji should have died right here. I love Ryuji, do not get me wrong, but if Ryuji would have died right there, the entire game would have been different and potentially better. Like, yeah, there's still other factors that Ryuji's death wouldn't fix, but still, the overall theme of the game would have been better. This is where the game should have taken a big risk. If Ryuji would have gotten killed, the motivation for defeating Yaldabaoth would have been so much more better and relatable. That's the route the game should have taken. But it didn't. It went for a scene where it wanted players to go, "Oh, Ryuji, I cannot believe you made us think you were dead. That is so funny. Now he's on the ground knocked out." It's so funny. Instead, it made me go, here's the thing, right? Akechi was always dead, and Maruki brought him back because of shock value, I guess. If Royal would have replaced Akechi with Ryuji, that would have been insane. That would have been absolutely insane. But I guess that would have taken actually writing skills again, wouldn't it? I understand that the players wanted more Akechi in the game, and that's fine. But couldn't Akechi have actually made it out of Shido's ship alive with no Maruki bullshit, and Ryuji was actually the one who got brought back? That would have made total sense. The Phantom Thieves would have all want Ryuji to come back. Maruki could have made some reason why he came back and he survived. But then when a moment comes that he isn't real and he's still dead in reality, that would have been sick. That would have been awesome. But again, no spine, no balls. So after the whole Maruki stuff ends, this is where I absolutely despise the game. All the work we went through, it just doesn't matter. It didn't matter at all. All the work, just poof. With Maruki's reality gone, the entire game goes on as if none of the alternate reality stuff happened, except for the Phantom Thieves knowing. So, like, if we were to hang out with a Confidant during the alternate reality time, would they remember the time we spent together? I mean, we defeat Maruki, and then time rewinds. We still rank up with all those people during the free time while infiltrating Maruki's palace. If I were to completely rank up a Confidant who wasn't part of the Phantom Thieves, let's say from rank 4 all the way up to 10 somehow, and time rewound back to December, what happens to the Confidant? Are they still in trouble? Are they maxed out still? So time moves on, and now it's Valentine's Day. Alright, cool. So March 3rd happens, and the entire game, minus Samiri, comes together, and Ryuji just drops the ball and says, "Hey guys, I'm moving away." Then literally everyone else takes a turn and say, "Oh, actually, I'm going to be moving away too," or "I'm actually going to be doing this, so I'm not going to be around anymore." I don't understand this scene. The only two who don't say they're moving away are Yusuke and Futaba. Like, what is the actual point of this scene? It's supposed to show that people will move away, that everything has an end. Like, yeah, no shit. I want this game to end. Time skips forward, and now we have to celebrate White Day? What the hell is really White Day? I guess it's just Valentine's Day 2? Oh my god, get this over with. We have to go to numerous places to pick up gifts and go to our partner. I chose Sumire for this run, and this was very nice and pleasant, I guess. I would just rather have the game be over with. So yeah, eventually time does get forward. We say goodbye to everyone, and then we leave. Oh boy. But would you believe me, I told you that. The ending of the game is terrible. The game's ending is also one of the most wholesome endings I've ever watched. You leave LeBlanc for the last time, you see Sojiro look at the journal you kept up to date with, and he wipes away a tear. That's awesome. That's really good. Akira walks out to the station to go home, but he sees his friends in the van calling him. Yusuke and Akira walk into the van and decide to have one last road trip where Akira lives. They look back and see a black car with two guys watching them. Who are these guys? Who knows? Okay. Fine. Okay. So yeah, the game's over. They drive off onto a road, and they're laughing and playing around. This is the perfect ending. They drive off into the horizon on one last adventure. Not on a metaverse adventure to fix society, but one last adventure of this discovery and friendship. That's history right there, do you understand? The credits roll, and the music is played. It almost brought me to tears, I'm not gonna lie. It's so good. It's so damn perfect. For such a broken game, it almost left me at tears in the end. How did it do that? I guess I don't really know. There is an end credit scene where they're still driving down. They see an ocean by the road. Nothing really happens, but just seeing our cast one last time. Kind of weird, but hey, I liked it. The ending to this game has to be one of the biggest sins I've ever seen committed when making an enhanced re-release. The ending to this game is such a big slap to the face and a kick to the balls to the original ending. This game's ending makes zero sense, and I don't understand why they changed it this badly. I will focus on the true ending because this is the ending the game wants you to have. So we still go to our friends and say goodbyes, grab our items from our max rank confidants, and see Sojiro shed a tear. Still great, so everything's going great so far. So everything goes the same until the whole mysterious black car situation. Still have no clue who these dudes are. Are they Shido's men? Why are they still even following us? What does it matter? But then a taxi pulls up and is none other than Dr. Maruki. Oh boy, oh man, he's still alive, I guess. Okay, so Akira gets into the taxi while the rest of the gang goes away and the black car follows them. Okay. We have a one-on-one moment with Maruki in a separate place. Maruki gives us a piece of advice. If you are struggling in life, you can start over, just like me. I mean, yeah, sure. Homeboy went to school for many years to become a social worker just for all for the mean he becomes a taxi driver. I mean, out of all things, become a taxi driver? Man, master's degrees are really worthless nowadays, aren't they? So Maruki drives off and a van pulls up again. Our friends wish us all well once again and they say goodbye. They then drive off and the car keeps following them. What? Okay. So Akira then walks up to the station and none other than Sumire walks by cause plot. Morgana also decides that he's coming with us because I just whatever. We walk by Sumire and then we go onto the train and the curtain drops. That's Persona 5 Royal. Almost. There's an end credit scene where Akira looks back in a window and then there's a reflection of him, but as Joker. Then it just ends. What the f did that mean? This ending is dog shit. Look at the previous ending. The friends drive off into the sunset with one last big adventure in store for them. Here they just drive off and are like, bye, see you soon. Like, what? Where's the majesty of it all? There's no emotions. I felt nothing from this. Not to mention they didn't have to throw in the confusing ending shot. Like, what's it supposed to be? No matter what, you'll always be Joker on the inside or fuck that. This is stupid. Erase this ending. Boo! Boo! This sucks. The credits song was garbage. I don't know why they had a new credits song. This song sucks. I'm sorry. It sucks. It's not even enjoyable. It's not because I'm angry at the ending. I listened to it again. It just sucks. I firmly believe that the new story in Persona 5 Royal should have been DLC for the original game. Now, I know what you're all thinking about right now. Mr. Rachi, it can't just be an expansion. Just too many tweaks. There's new gameplay mechanics. There's new characters. You have to play the entire game again. It just wouldn't work as DLC. To that I say, no you don't. Let's take something for example.
Cast aside, there's no coming home. We're burning chaos in the wind, drifting in the ocean.
Devil May Cry 5 Special Edition is an enhanced re-release of the original Devil May Cry 5 with upgraded visuals, new music, new modes, and other good. This release was $40 at launch. It doesn't have much new story content, but you get to play as Virgil now throughout the main story. If this release was going to be $60, that would be a bit problematic, where you can get the original Devil May Cry for less than $20 most of the time. $40 is perfect. Another example, why don't we?
Against all the evil that hell can conjure, all the wickedness that mankind can produce, we will send unto them only you. Rip and tear until it is done.
Doom Eternal launched their first DLC, The Ancient Gods, here a while back, and it was a tiny bit more costly than the average DLC. It was $20. And Bethesda decided to re-release Doom Eternal a year later with slightly better visuals and this DLC added on, and part 2 potentially added on too. Release it for $60 or more. That would have been a little upsetting. Why should anyone have to buy the same game again for more than they potentially paid for just for an additional 5+ hour experience? Not to mention Doom Eternal's ending was perfect. This is exactly how I feel about Persona 5 Royal. There isn't enough new content to justify this as a whole new game. The new visuals are barely noticeable. The loading times are better, but even original Persona 5's loading times weren't even that big of a problem to me. And the new story just sucks ass. This should have been DLC, not a $60 game you can buy. It is not worth $60. I do not feel like I got my money's worth at all. There's not enough to justify a $60 price tag, and yet there's just too many things added to be a standard DLC. It's in this strange middle ground. But here's the thing. The original Persona games got enhanced re-releases as well. The original Persona games got enhanced re-releases on the PSP, making it more accessible during the time. Persona 3 got Persona 3 FES while still on the PlayStation 2. It had a new story segment, some other small enhancements, and best of all, a lower price tag. Persona 4 had Persona 4 Golden on the Vita and now on a PC, and which made it handheld and more accessible on more systems. It had better graphics and new story as well. What does Persona 5 Royal do for the consumer? And don't forget that this was released 3 years ago. This was released just 3 years after the original game. There isn't a whole lot of time in between these games. If they wanted to make this more justifiable, maybe a Switch port would have been cool. There are no Persona games over there, so that would have been cool. Regardless, you can get base Persona 5 for less than $20 at almost every retailer. This game does not add $40 worth of content, and not even close. Persona 5 Royal has its own DLC, all of it being greedy, useless bullshit, however. $15 for Samiri outfits? Wow, what a goddamn steal! Don't forget, you can only use Samiri as a playable character in this little segment when you enter Maruki's palace and when you finally infiltrate Maruki officially in the 3rd semester of the game. The entire new segment is less than 5 hours worth, so you only have that much time to play with her. I'm glad there's an overly expensive costume package for her. It's totally worth it, right? Oh, speaking of DLCs, look at these amazing steals! All this amazing DLC will cost you around $60, just as much as the game. If you bought the game and all the DLC, that's $120 for it all. Wow. Just thank God this stuff is mostly useless and isn't needed at all, so nobody's forcing you to buy it, so you don't have to get this stuff to fully 100% the game. I have a few more things I'd like to say, but we're just going to end things right here for now. So join me again for the last part of the video. I look forward to having this video be fully completed, and of course, once the last part is up, I will be putting up a mega video of all the parts put together, so that'll be cool. But for now, please like and subscribe so you'll be ready for the last exciting part. Hope you guys see you all there. It's going to be great, and my frustrations do not end. I hope to see you all there. Bye-bye.